The Ramones with Blitzkrieg Bop, the first song on side one of their debut album in 1976. Remember how I said that a boy band called the Bay City Rollers was big at the time? The Ramones were actually making fun of them with Blitzkrieg Bop. At the time that song was recorded, the Bay City Rollers were very hot with a single called Saturday Night, and part of the hook was a chant that went S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y, night. The Hey Ho, Let's Go was written as an antidote to that. The whole album was recorded for $6,400. The iconic cover photo was shot by a woman named Roberta Bailey, and she was paid $125. Although the mainstream rock world firmly and decisively rejected the Ramones, a growing underground scene of disaffected kids embraced them. Whenever the Ramones toured through North America or the UK, these kids thought, wow, that looks like fun. I bet you I could do it too. And they did. Many thousands of bands were formed. Even the Sex Pistols and the Clash took some important cues from the Ramones. And the Ramones' influence is still being felt today. No Ramones, then no Green Day, no Sum 41. And what kind of t-shirts would we wear? So there are 3 essential rock records, not only for an alt-rock record collection, but for any proper rock and roll library. In a moment, I'll give you a few more that you absolutely need to have.
More of The Secret History of Rock coming up. Back to The Secret History of Rock with Alan Cross.
The first part of this program is a response to all those emails I've received asking for help in putting together an essential alt-rock album library. So far, our list includes the first Velvet Underground record from 1967, David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust from 1972, and the Ramones' debut from 1976. Album number 4 is the one and only proper album from the Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks, which was released on October 27th, 1977. Like the previous 3 albums, this one doesn't really sound dated at all. The way it was written, the way it was performed, the way it was recorded sounds about as timeless as you can get while still being decades old. Yes, the music from this record was influential. It did much to shape the sound and fury of punk. But the record was also important for the way it galvanized the punk movement in the UK. See, in North America, punk was all about rebellion and energy. Same thing in the UK, except that it was also an attack on the class system and the status quo, which had grown stale, stodgy, and ever more exclusive. This energy and anger completely rebooted rock and roll in Britain, and the influence Bollocks had went far just beyond music. Fashion, film, television, writing, journalism, it seeped into all the crevices of popular culture. But strangely, the album was something of a sales dud, at least in some parts of the world. Bollocks was a number 1 album in the UK, but it only reached number 106 in the US. It took until 1987, 10 full years, for the album to sell 500,000 copies in America. It took until 1991 for it to reach 1 million, so 14 years to sell 1 million copies in the US. But after that, sales began to accelerate. Why? Well, because Nirvana came along, and they were pretty vocal about being influenced by the Sex Pistols. But back to Bollocks. When the album came out, nothing had ever sounded like it. It was powerful, snarling, insulting, inflammatory, shocking, and some would even say downright treasonous. It wasn't all long ago that a monarch could order some heads lopped off for